So I think it's pretty clear by now that my call that the real estate market was slowing down, I think about 6 weeks ago, maybe 8 weeks ago, is proven to be pretty accurate. Now I want to sort of touch on what markets and maybe types that I would avoid, just to sort of put it out there. So the first thing I would avoid as the market rolls over and we try to find our footing and see what's going on is anything that's 2x the median. So figure out wherever the median is in your market. I would avoid everything that's 2x that. In most markets, I would avoid anything that's 1.5x that. So for example, if the median for your market was 300, I wouldn't touch anything as an investment over 600. I think that anything over 600 grand is in for a fall. I believe anything that's 2x the market in a rising interest rate environment where there are less buyers and the affordability is so low is going to fall. I think anything 2x the median, so again 600 in this example, could fall 20%. There's just no buyers. And I think supply is going to spike and inventory is going to rise in price cuts. And I think a lot of people are going to hold on to that number that was, in May or June. And then what will happen is in 3 to 6 months, they'll give up and they'll just slash the price. So I think that's the first thing I would do. Avoid anything that's 2x. Also, just to carry that forward to 1.5. So if the median is 300, I'd be very cautious at anything over 450. And just to be clear, this is for owner occupants or investing. Certainly investing. Owner occupant, I would at least do a double check because I think you'll get better deals in 6 months. So that's the first thing. Next is I actually believe apartments, like 80, the Grant Cardone 80 unit kind of deal. I seem to see lots of syndication and a lot of people talking about 80 units and above. There's just not that much inventory. If you're looking at 80 units and above and, there's 3 or 4 times the competition that there usually is, it's just going to mean that prices are richly valued, in my opinion. The other thing I would avoid is land. I think as land rolls over or as prices roll over, land becomes less interesting. I would avoid anything that's kind of not bread and butter, right? So maybe avoid mobile homes, maybe avoid, things out in the country, just anything that kind of has that, anything on septic if you're normally not on septic, anything on dirt roads where you're usually paved, anything that has that little oddity by it. So those are the things to avoid. Now, what I would look for. So let's just go in the same order, right? I would look for anything that's, certainly anything that's half the median. So back to my example of 300 being the median, I would look for anything from sort of 150 to 200, maybe even 2.25. Because again, affordability is best at the low end, best chance to cash flow. They're not making anymore. All new construction is above that price point. So just simple supply and demand says you're going to be okay. Next, apartments. If 80 units and above are crowded, I would tell you the 5 to 20 doesn't have a lot of activity, right? I think a lot of people that used to fish in that kind of 5 to 20 range have taken on the apartment syndication and have visions of going bigger. So they've gone upstream or to bigger units. I see a lot of sort of 5 to 20 units that make a lot of sense to me. I think those are interesting. And then lastly, sort of bread and butter stuff, right? If you're not looking at anything that has oddities like septic, dirt roads, manufactured homes, then look for the 3-bedroom, 2-bath in the blue collar, white collar neighborhoods. Look for things that aren't perfect, but need some touch up and some stuff. And then lastly, just stay in the market, right? The real estate markets ebb and flow all the time. There's always people that need to get out. You never know where you're going to find a motivated seller. So in the end, hopefully this makes sense. Feel free to ask questions below because I'd love to hear from the subscribers and keep cranking out subscriber questions, videos and the like, because this channel is all for you. So please ask questions and let me know how it goes. Thanks.